Alright guys, so today what I would like to do is I would like to do an update to my Part 3 Heroic Sith Nightster DEATHSTORM guide. This is a very popular guide I've done, and I've had many people ask me to re-break down the guide again with another run and give some additional tips and tricks, etc. So today I'm going to be trying to update that guide and hopefully re-explain it and showing you a new run that I did 19.7 mil in, and I hope this helps you learn this team. Okay, before we get into the run, I need to briefly cover just a few things. First of all is the Zetas. To make this run possible, you must have Mother Tausen lead, Asajj Ventress is unique, and Odaka is unique. Now, there's been some people that say you can do it without Odaka is unique. However, I'm just going to say no. You technically can, but you're only going to get a few mil damage. Odaka is unique is really what allows this run to work, especially in the post-enraged portion of the run. As far as Gear 12 pieces go, I would recommend the multi-tool and the bayonet on Asajj. The other pieces don't matter so much for her, but you know, the extra speed's always nice. For Mother Tausen, I'd recommend not having the med pack or actually the multi-tool in this situation, but if you have it, it's not so bad. I'd give her the wristband and the data pad. Now, as far as Odaka goes, I would give her all 5. I think Odaka is worth all 5. And Night Sister Zombie, I would only give the 2 speed plus the tanky portion of it. So that's what I have. Now, as far as Anisha goes, you want her Gear 6 or Gear 7. Either of those is fine. You essentially want her basic to be Omega, and the other moves really matter that much. Just level her up. But the only other thing is you can level this here, so that way she has bonus offense, etc. But it's all minute damage, okay? It doesn't really matter. And the Zetas on everyone else doesn't matter that much. Now, you can have Mother Tausen's second Zeta, and it will help you have her die a little bit quicker in the beginning, but really it's not required, okay? Now, as far as mods go, really, it's very simple. You're going to have your best critical damage mods on it with as high as offense as you can get with 222% critical damage. I only have 1,000 bonus offense on Asajj, so these aren't nuts mods by any means, and I only have 84 speed on her. But I do have some 6 dots, and you know, they're okay mods, okay? Now, as far as Mother Tausen goes, I have decent mods on her. What you're going to want is no diamond. You're going to want just offense mods purely with critical damage. So I have like a critical damage triangle here, and the rest is just max offense. Speed doesn't really matter that much, especially if you have your unique Zeta. So I have 80 speed on her, but as you can see, my bonus damage is just about 7,100, so 2,000 additional special damage. Now, for Odaka, it's a little bit more tricky. I like to go with both a health and speed set. There has been some people who say that you want a health primary on the arrow, etc. I personally prefer just having the speed, because I do believe the speed is more beneficial over time. That being said, if you don't have any health secondaries on your speed arrow, I could see the argument to having a health primary on your arrow. Now, the other portions are going to be just primarily health. As you can see here, health primaries, health primaries, health primaries. Basically, just get your health as quickly as high as you can, as near the 50k mark as possible. 45k plus, and you're good to go. 40k, and you're still okay. Any lower than 40k, and it's starting to get kind of low, okay? Now, 131 speed is what I have on her, and the rest doesn't really matter. Now, there's also an argument to be made for purely health sets. If you don't have the 5 pieces, that is acceptable, as well as a tenacity set can be acceptable as well to help resist the dazes and reduce the RNG. Now, for Night Sister Zombie, it's very simple. You want her just to be tanky, purely health primaries. You can see these are all health primaries here, except I have a little bit of speed on her. I don't have a speed set on purpose. You want her to be fast, but not ridiculously fast. If she's like 140, 150 speed, she'll be going so quick that she'll be tanking so much she'll fracture herself very quickly in the beginning. So all you're going to want is to have her above 40k HP, and you should be fine. Don't worry too much about the speed on her. As long as she's over 80 bonus speed, you should be okay. Now, for Initiate, the modding is very simple on her. You just want as high as critical chance as possible, and that's literally the only thing that matters with no diamond mod, okay? So I believe I don't have a critical chance super high. It's only like 50-something%. I think it's like 58% here. Yeah, 58%. And that's about all I have on her. Okay, so that should cover it for the team, and then let's get into the runs. Okay, So let's go ahead and get into the run here. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do as soon as you start is if you see a Retribution Saber, whoever's going first, you're going to want to attack the Retribution Saber. That way the zombie gets an additional stack of speed. It will go back and hit zombie with the pre-taunt, and then he'll go and he'll get a bonus stack of speed because of that. Now, you'll see I did not do this here with Odaka. There's no 900 IQ playing going on. It's just I strictly made a misplay. Now, your very first goal as soon as you start any run is to attempt to get both Nightster Initiate and Mother Towson to die and stay dead. So because of this, you have to have 2 deaths happen on the team. It doesn't matter who. Sometimes Asajj can die. Most of the time it's Initiate, just like dying twice. And then you're going to need Mother Towson and Initiate to both die again. Once they are both dead, then you can continue the run and use their deaths to consistently feed turn meter to Odaka and Asajj and ramp their passives. That is essentially how this team works. So it's going to be a little different depending on your mod situation. I've gone over the mods that I'm using already, but depending on your speeds and your mods and your HP and gear level and all that, the variation with how you're going to get your team down is going to vary widely from every team. So because of these reasons, there is a large part of this run that is RNG. So the very beginning up until you get to turn 11, if you do not have everyone dead, and by everyone I'm saying Initiate and Mother Towson dead, at that point by turn 11 and have her toppled, then that is a reset and you're going to want to start again. There is some RNG to this team, so bear with it. As you can see, my Asajj dies here, but instead what I do is I go ahead and try to revive him. By continually attacking until the saber goes down. My Asajj comes back up, so I know the run is saved, and I go to start clearing the sabers as it is turn 11. Now, if Asajj had not been revived, this would have been a reset, but because he was able to be revived, I was able to continue the run. So don't give up on your run instantly, but make sure you're using airplane mode or something like that, so that way if you mess up and she kills everyone, you don't just lose your run. Now, as soon as you get into toppos, the run is very simple. You want to try to keep Nightster zombie with as many stacks of speed as possible while still keeping the ramping going. So you'll notice most of the times I heal throughout the run or when the other 2 people that are alive typically both have turn meter up. If you can accomplish this, it will lose you less turn meter overall by using the heal, because when you use the heal, you're not reviving someone and having them die, so you're not generating that turn meter. And if you're not generating that turn meter, that means that Traya will be gaining more turn meter quickly. So for that reason, when you use your heals, you typically want both Zombie and Odaka to have portions of turn meter, or at least Zombie to have full turn meter and Odaka to have at least 50%. That way Zombie will go next attack, Asajj will gain 35% turn meter, Odaka will hit 100, Odaka will go again, Asajj will be at 70% turn meter, and then if Traya does come out of the topo and kills or the sabers kill Zombie, you actually have a chance at Asajj being able to AoE and get a free topple, because if both Asajj and Traya have 100% turn meter, there's a coin flip that happens to determine who goes first. And if Asajj win that coin flip and there's no foresight sabers, then you can get an additional turn. So the TLDR during topple is just make sure Zombie has enough HP to eat 2 saber attacks before Traya goes with her isolate when you come out of topple, and try to only do your heals when Daka and Zombie have turn meter, okay? Other than that, it's just spamming basic attacks and getting rampage up. So when you come out of the topple, what's going to happen is 2 sabers are going to go, and then Traya is going to go. Now, if either of the 2 sabers that go have foresight on it, can remove the taunt from Zombie. If this happens and she has isolate up, she can isolate a random member. If this happens and it's like Daka or Asajj or something, you're just boned and you have to reset, okay? So unfortunately, there is a little bit of RNG, even midway through this run, and there's even more RNG in the latter part of the run. So if that does happen, try not to get too tilted, just reset, okay? If you're curious how long it took me to get this run going, I think it took me approximately 30 minutes or so of resets, and then the time you see here in the run, all said and done, you know, 45 minutes or an hour or so to get this run in its entirety. Now, something you're going to notice is that approximately 5 or 6 turns until Enrage, I did Asajj standalone. There has been people who have told me, you don't want to do standalone. This is incorrect. You don't want to do it with Asajj. You want to do later. And I actually disagree. I think it's better to do Asajj standalone at like 5 to 6 turns to Enrage, 7 turns to Enrage. And the reason for this is it limits the amount of heals that is required. Because it's reducing the stacks of weakness, and it makes it where there's not as much damage going to the zombie in Daka, and so you can just basic attack more and not have to worry about the zombie, okay? Now, that being said, you do lose the ability for Asajj to do standalone later in the match, which could give you, you know, with some insane RNG, could give you millions of more damage. However, it's more consistent to use the standalone around turn 5 and limit the stack, so that way it limits the amount of healing required and gets the ramps up sooner rather than later. That's my own personal opinion, that's the way I do it, and it makes it very effective for me. Plus, if you do the standalone at turn 5 or 6, right around there, by the time you get into Enrage, your standalone is available again on people like Mother Townsend and Initiate for later in post Enrage when you need to try to limit some of the RNG factors that can happen. So once you start getting to a couple turns to Enrage, it's time to start setting up for the Enrage. Now, once you get into Enrage, it boils down to a lot of RNG because you're going to get buff immunity and you're not going to be able to have a taunt up, okay? Now what you're going to see me doing here is I'm just going to heal because I can sneak one in. Setting up for Enrage, you want to get everyone max HP as quickly as possible before you go into the Enrage. This is because not only do you have buff immunity, but if you get hit, you also have health immunity, you know, healing immunity. And if that happens, then you'll die very quickly if you have low HP. So because of Odaka is unique, and Asajj is unique, they both have tons and tons of HP at this point. Odaka probably has like 500k or something crazy, maybe not that much, but you get the point. And because of that, if you top them out default, even in Enrage, they can tank some hits. It's really a big deal, okay? So you'll see here, I got them full HP. Ate a Saber, no big deal, while hitting a Saber on zombie instantly killed them, okay? So clearing that is very important. The other thing is you have to get into topple immediately. So clear the Foresight Sabers, get right back into topple. If you can get any topples at all that allow you to just spam basic attacks with 2 dead and no one got isolated and killed, that's a huge deal. That is your goal. That's what you're trying to do, is normal topples to spam basic attacks into the Enrage because you're doing literal millions of damage per topple at this point. Now you see I rezzed everybody because if you get an isolate on Daki or Asajj, the run's basically over, okay? So if you res everybody and she isolates like Initiate or something, you can still do another turn. You're just not going to have as much term either. But instead, she did isolate zombie. This actually happens more often than you would think. For some reason, the AI really likes trying to kill zombies, so she isolates them like 5 times out of 10 or something. So basically what you'll see here I'm doing is all I'm trying to do is get both Initiate and Townsend to die, but I end up just getting Townsend to die. I'm like, that's good enough, and I go back to just the standard basic attacking. Now, the other thing is, you'll notice I don't have healing immunity on the Asajj. As soon as you re-res somebody, be it through, you know, Mother Townsend leader, however you res somebody, they won't have healing immunity, and they only have buff immunity. So as soon as you res them, heal that person to maximum if it's Daka or Asajj. That way, you can, once again, tank a whole bunch more damage into Enrage. So if you go into a topple where everyone's alive, it's not really a big deal. You're just not going to get as much damage as you would in a normal topple. And in fact, when you come out of the topple, they're going to die and generate turn meter into Asajj, and maybe you can get another free topple right off the bat again. So there is a little bit of perks to that. As you can see here, basically they kill those 2 guys. I'm able to AoE clear and then get yet another run in. Now, there is some RNG to this. She could have just focused on Daka, instantly killed her, then had Foresight Sabers, and I was unable to res her or something like that, and I could have just lost the run here. But I would say that going into Enrage, it's fairly common that you can at least get 1 or 2 good turns into Enrage on average, even with poor RNG. The only time this doesn't happen is if she immediately clears like the zombie taunt, immediately kills Daka, and then Asajj is unable to res it or something. That's really the only time that you get completely boned. Other than that, it's honestly not that bad in Enrage because you have so much HP at this point. So now that you kind of understand the basics of when you're in topple, when you're out of topple, and when you're in Enrage, I'm going to let the rest of the run just play out so you can see how it went. I believe it was her next isolate. She does kill Townsend, and as soon as she isolates and kills the first of your 5, that's really the beginning of the end for you. So when you get to that point, they kill someone, go ahead and look at how much damage or percentage you've done. See if you're happy with that number. If you're not happy with that number, maybe reset, try to get a higher number. Theoretically, you can solo all of part 3 if you get hilariously amazing RNG. But even so, the 20 mil I did here was some nuts percentage. I never calculated out, but you can see it in this run here. I'll let the rest of the run play out, and I'll see you guys at the end of it. this far, I'd like to first say thank you for watching my video. Perhaps consider subscribing to my channel. I do daily content, or at least I try to. I apologize for not having any videos out in the last 3 days, as I have been sick this week. But hopefully this video makes it up for you guys. At 10K subs, I said I would be shaving the mustache. I didn't think I would get anywhere near that, but we broke 5K, so thank you for that. And 10K is coming, so mustache-geddon will be soon, guys. Also at this time, I'd like to send an extended shout-out thank you to my Patreons, as you guys have been helping me fulfill my dream of doing this content creation full time, and I've been humbled by the support I've gotten both through Patreon and just from people like you watching my videos. So thank you guys. I love y'all. Mwah, and I hope you have a great day, okay?